Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be talking about the current meta of Endless Dream Realm, the most used heroes in the overall top performing teams of the 8 different Dream Realm bosses we had, because we now have had 8 days since Galahad's release and we have mythic charms on our entire account. So this gives you a really good idea of the Endless Dream Realm meta after having mythic charms. So we're going to go ahead and begin with today's boss with Mirage Frostbite. There will be a column which will also be telling you the usage rates of the different heroes, but basically Galahad is the major hero in every Endless Dream Realm boss comp. It is not free of Gala. She is the top performing hero overall, and single-handedly has changed the meta of Endless Dream Realm. She is the most must-pull status and also one of the biggest priorities to get up to plus 20 and plus 25 exclusive equipment when you can, being in every single top performing team for all 8 bosses. But if we look at Mirage Frostbite here in particular, we also have 2 other big hitters, which are the twins and Smokey. Smokey has been completely resurrected from the dead thanks to Galahad's release, because they have great synergy together. Smokey can provide attack and haste buff to Gala. He also deals HP loss damage, and the twins can also buff up both of them on the Stellar Bond, both being molded heroes, and get the full value of that. So that is, I think, probably why Smokey is so good now, and he's using 7 out of 8 of the top Dream Realm boss teams, just showing you how one hero can actually change which other heroes become meta relevant as supporters. So that's really good. Smokey and Galahad, great usage. And twins, of course, as well. Still, they are the most powerful celestial Hypogean for everyone to be building on their account. They are using 7 out of 8 of the top Dream Realm boss teams. The only boss they're not a part of is Blightshroom, because, of course, that prevents you from casting your ultimate, and the twins heavily depend on casting their ultimate. Now, if we look at the other heroes for this Mirage Frostbite in particular, Aliceth is going to be one of the top celestial Hypogean damage dealers for Endless Dream Realm. She's using basically 4 out of 8 of the top teams. However, the thing is, Mehira is also using 4 out of 8, and actually, technically, Mehira is also using 5 out of 8, but I chose to label it 4 out of 8 because, like, the 5th one is hardly any gap. And the thing about Aliceth versus Mehira is Mehira really came online with the mythic charms, but prior to mythic charms, you know, when we were still in Endless, though, of Dream Realm, Aliceth was really kind of dominating, and so I do believe, as of right now, Aliceth is slightly higher priority than Mehira, but also future heroes released, or who knows what will be the next, like, Celestial Hypogeans in the next season. They could totally change the landscape of Dream Realm. We've seen it done with Galahad. We don't know what is coming next, and so I cannot say for sure, like, long term, which is the better pick. But for right now, Aliceth is slightly better because she is probably creating more bigger score gaps compared to Mehira. And Pandora is using 2 out of 8 top teams, which is not great, but also not bad either. Like, even Baelran is sitting at 2 out of 8 of the top teams, and he's still an important priority to be building up, because you are going to lose out on score for those bosses, and if future bosses come out, like, you know, in next season, which really cater and Baelran can do really well against, then he's going to be good again. And same thing for Pandora. Pandora is best for Mirage, Frostbite, and Thalassa. Okay, moving on to Magmazard. If we look at it here, we have one hero which is only appearing 1 time in the top teams, which is Daimon, but he is very good for Magmazard, and is still basically kind of solidifies the place of Daimon as that kind of niche Dream Realm usage, and Endless Dream Realm especially. He is a good hero, but now with so many other good damage dealers, he isn't the highest of priorities. I would probably not recommend him above plus 10 exclusive equipment for the majority of players, unless you're using him a lot in PvP. Baelran is still 2 out of 8, and that is still good. He's creating a big score gap in the bosses that he is a part of, which are Magmazard and Blightshroom. So he still is kind of an important priority build up. Also, he's good for AFK stages, so like kind of having double usage in 2 different key game modes. That also gives him value of being pulled. And of course, Smoking, Galahad, and Twins, we've already talked about them. Blightshroom, the other heroes to mention, Mehira, this is Mehira's first showcase so far in this video, but she is going to be in a lot of teams. So Mehira is doing very well for a couple of reasons. She has pretty good HP loss damage of her own, and with her magic charms, it is going to be increased. She also provides a haste buff to your other allies, increasing their damage output potential. The problem is, though, you're usually running the twins in a Dream Realm team, and then having more haste from Mehira is kind of like diminishing returns, doesn't give huge value, but like in a boss like Blightshroom where twins can't be run, it is pretty big having Mehira in the team. So Mehira is a good, solid hero, and honestly, after Aliceth, she's probably the next priority to be building up specifically for Dream Realm. She is 4 out of 8 in the top boss teams. And even though Baelran is really good as well, and he's a good like carry for AFK stages, Mehira also is going to get some value in AFK stages from being Supreme Plus. There are some stages which need her Supreme Plus for that. But overall in Dream Realms, she is just being used more than Baelran as of right now. When we look at King Kruger is an interesting one and a bit of a strange one. I didn't include Talene because like honestly, Talene can work at one copy in this comp. And like obviously you can use different revivers like Saida or Thorin in various different comps, so I don't really consider Talene like a priority to build or anything. Mehira is in the top team for King Kruger, which is pretty impressive, even outperforming the Aliceth teams by a pretty hefty margin, right? And so this is what I'm talking about. Mehira is meta for Dream Realm. She is a meta Celestial Hypogean to be building up. The question of her versus Aliceth, they're both very close right now, and it will just come down to like next season boss lineup, next season new meta Dream Realm heroes, which hero is going to be phased out. Like it's all going to be dependent on that. So like if I had to make a long-term prediction, it's really difficult to make that call, and it really just it will just depend on the fate of new heroes being added to AFK Journey, and we cannot predict that. But both are meta. As of right now, both Mehira and Aliceth are meta. Necrodraken, this was just completely interesting and very strange. That actually the top performing Necrodraken team kicked Harak out of Necrodraken even in Endless Dream Realm. This is a boss designed for Harak. It should have been his basically playground. However, he did almost tie the score, and so technically you could also say Harak 1 out of 10. I'm sorry, 1 out of 8 bosses, but I didn't even bother including Harak because the other problem with Harak is that this Necrodraken boss is probably going bye-bye next season, and then like he's gonna have literally no boss designed for him unless they actually make a boss custom tailor-made for Harak. He's not gonna be meta, and that's why I just didn't even bother to include him in the column. And technically right now even, he isn't in the top team. The top team is an Aliceth Mehira team. It has the highest also with RNG potential that can be 530 billion, and even without RNG, it did slightly beat out the Harak team. So yeah, Aliceth Mehira even dominating in a boss which is like really countering stationary heroes, which they are both stationary heroes. That's kind of crazy. Thalassa, interestingly, didn't have Aliceth in it. The top team was just Rowan for energy cycling and more ultimates rather than Aliceth. If you look at Aliceth, she did fine. Like, I mean, 800 billion, but the top team was without Aliceth. So that is the other thing, right? Like the fact that Galahad has even kind of caused a replacement of Aliceth in Thalassa, which is a boss like also really kind of well designed for Aliceth. But obviously because Aliceth is getting a good score here, it still shows her damage output potential, but it's just there are better options out there. And Rowan actually making his only debut in a top team, and it is going to be in Thalassa. And it could also be due to the charm quality bonus as well. Nocturne Judicator is an interesting boss. This is where Mehira is dominating. However, the thing is, even the non-Mehira team is very close. There's only like a 3 billion score gap between Mehira and non-Mehira, and so that is why I don't necessarily consider her super meta for like Nocturne Judicator. Also, probably we're not going to have Nocturne Judicator next season. We've had it 2 seasons back to back. Usually that means it's going to go, but actually, yeah, you see Shakir here, Velara here, so I didn't include Shakir in the column because largely speaking, Shakir has kind of been power crept out of the meta, not really used that much. But for Nocturne Judicator, he is in the best budget team, the best no Mehira team out there, best for if you haven't built up Mehira fully. And so for a majority of players, they are using Shakir. So technically, I'll probably leave Shakir in the column 1 out of 8. But like, yeah, I mean, Shakir nowadays is not going to be seeing that much usage. And it's really only because this is a very unique boss where you can have Shakir buff up the Midnight Hunter. Otherwise, for regular boss content and future seasons, probably not going to see a lot of Shakir. But we do see Kruger, we do see Velara. Both of these do have the usages in Dream Realm. Both are strong heroes. And so, yeah, they are in the column and they are kind of a priority to build at least up to Supreme Plus. And Velara, if you have the resources, you can even plus 20 exclusive equipment. It'll also help you in stages. Okay, now for Sigmund. Sigmund is the final boss that we have to go through, right? Sigmund is the final boss. So in Sigmund, the top team is Aliceth. So Aliceth is still outperforming Mehira in this boss, which is good news for people with Aliceth. Hugin also making his only debut in a top team. But he is a meta hero. In like budget teams, backup teams, you do see Hugin a fair bit. And the other heroes you've seen, you do see a fair bit as well. But that what I want to talk about now is, where is Ludovic? Ludovic is not in a single top performing team anymore. Galahad is Powercrept, Ludovic out of the meta. However, the thing is that for backup teams, especially for Blightstroom, for people who don't have many Celestial Hypogeans, there are still going to be Ludovic team options out there, like a Ludovic Velika Baelran team, for example, which is not one of the best, but even a Gala Ludovic team. So Ludovic is still not bad. He's still a good hero, and for Ravage Realm, he is going to have his usage. Like, look at this. This is actually a pretty good score, but it is not in the top team anymore. Ludovic used to be, after his Insight Charms, one of the best heroes for Endless Dream Realm, and he really has been removed from that meta. Blightstroom is literally the only boss where he's seeing usage, and that's because Smokey can't cast his ultimate. If Smokey could have casted his ultimate, he would have been in the top team, or like even the budget teams here. He is actually technically somehow still in the top team, even though he has no damage output. That's just the crazy thing about Smokey, because he can't cast his ultimate in this boss. But like, if he could cast his ultimate, he would probably even be replacing like heroes like Ludovic from the more budget teams. But because he can't, Ludovic is still an option. But Ludovic will be good for Ravage Realm, so like investment into Ludovic is still good, but it's just not a priority anymore. Priority has shifted to Smokey as a healer, a supporter, because that is going to buff up Gala. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Just a recap. Hopefully this is helpful, and just some insight into heroes that you should be planning to invest into. Now, if you have to choose between Aliceth and Mehira, honestly, there's not really a wrong decision between the two of them. Both are incredibly meta for Dream Realm, and it just comes down to which is more likely to be phased out in the future, depending on which hero is going to be added. And we cannot say that. There's no way that we can predict that, unfortunately. But hopefully, if you invest into either of them, they should have somewhat of longevity, somewhat of long-term usage. But basically right now, you guys are seeing it. Phraesto Harak, I would not recommend investing into. Even the boss custom made for him, he is not technically in the top team. And like next season, we're probably not going to have Neko Drake in. It's probably bye-bye for Harak. And Phraesto is also basically gone. In pre-Endless Dream Realm, there was some Phraesto, but now that we have Galahad, I think it's just going to be centered around Galahad, and like forget about Phraesto and Harak other than just for Ravage Realm. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That's going to be it for this video. And if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. My affiliate link is in the description of this video and a pinned comment. And you can actually bookmark this link in your browser. And whenever you're planning to make a purchase, just go ahead and return to that bookmark link, make your purchase. It will support me and be greatly appreciated. So thank you guys for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.